That's right, David, and a lot to talk about over the next several minutes. Of course, we've got Florence that has weakened ever so slightly again, but looks to strengthen significantly over the next few days. A brand new tropical storm in the far eastern Atlantic and pretty wet weekend coming up as well. Let's get to the latest on Florence again. Weakens ever so slightly since the 5 o'clock advisory. As of 11 o'clock, winds of 60 miles per hour. And normally we think that's good news, but the storm is still encountering a lot of shear. Those upper level winds are pulling it apart. It looks like that shear will start to lessen over the next 24 hours. So by Sunday, looks like it'll re-strengthen back into a Category 1 hurricane, and by Tuesday, likely back into a major hurricane, a Category 4 storm southwest of the island of Bermuda, and then on Wednesday, somewhere here, a couple 100 miles, 300 miles or so off the southeast coastline. Now, we talked earlier how that track has shifted ever so slightly off towards the south. So again, this is still preliminary, but if you were to extend that cone, I've drawn in here some of the areas at the highest risk. I think it's somewhere from, say, Jacksonville or the mid-Georgia coastline up to around Cape Hatteras at the highest risk for that landfall coming up into Thursday. The risk goes down a little bit as you get closer to Hampton Roads and off towards the northeast. It goes down, obviously, as you get closer to Daytona Beach and down towards Miami. This track has been ever so slightly shifting southward with each successive run from the National Hurricane Center. And if that trend continues into tomorrow, and the computer models agree with that, then again, I think we're starting to look a little more confident that we will see a landfall somewhere along the southeast coastline and somewhere just south of us. We talk about the European model because that one traditionally over the past several years has been the most accurate, and that's this darker line right in here, this thicker line. That's where the forecast is for the European model. Now, we talk about these ensembles. Basically what we do, we don't really know what those winds are inside the hurricane. We haven't sent a hurricane hunter aircraft out there. We're estimating it. So we say, well, what if it's a little bit stronger or a little bit weaker? We run that same computer model over once again, and it's almost like a butterfly effect. A little change in the beginning can spread out to a bigger change later, and you notice that those computer models are all over the place, some up towards us, some down towards Florida, and they weren't even calling for that just a couple of days ago. So the best performing computer model still continuing to shift off towards the south and west, and again, that trend continues into tomorrow and into Sunday, looking more likely that this landfall will be somewhere here from maybe the North Carolina coastline down towards Georgia, something we're just going to have to wait and see. So landfall along the East Coast, increasingly likely, and where that will happen still not entirely clear, but even later this weekend, tides and the surf will be up. As a matter of fact, as we go into Sunday, those tide levels at Sewell's Point coming up to 4.5 feet, where we start to see some minor or nuisance flooding going up to 4.8. Once we get up to 5.5, that's when we start to see a little bit more in the way of some flooding. So again, that's something we'll be watching even as we get into the weekend if the storm takes that more southerly track. Back here closer to home, we have been tracking a couple of very isolated showers out there. We're looking at partly cloudy skies as we go through the rest of the night. Here's Futurecast taking you through the overnight. Chance of a shower in the morning. Better chance for some showers and thunderstorms scattered around in the afternoon. Notice there are some breaks, so not an all afternoon rain, but we will see some scattered showers and storms out there. A little bit cooler. Temperatures in the upper 70s as we get into the evening, low 80s for your afternoon high, and really more of the same as we get into the day on Sunday with a little bit of a better chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Again, not a total washout this weekend, but there will be those scattered showers and storms scattered around the area. A little bit of a higher chance as we get into the day on Sunday. And in the meantime, we have Tropical Depression number 9 and a new tropical storm. That's Helene, looking like it's going to follow on a similar path to Florence, but again, shows some signs of weakening out 5 days, and Tropical Depression number 9 likely becoming Isaac as we go through the next several days. Partly cloudy skies right now, 79 degrees, south-southwesterly winds at 3 miles per hour. Just about everybody in the 70s now, and we'll look for overnight lows down around 74 degrees with partly cloudy skies. And tomorrow, looking at those afternoon showers and thunderstorms, not as hot, 84 degrees, scattered showers and storms on Sunday, 83. And then it's really into the end of the week that we're watching for any of those impacts from Florence. And just stay tuned this weekend, a good time to look at, you know, what you have at your house as far as water and things like that, but not too early to start thinking about it.
No, and as it is moving south, that's still very preliminary.
It is. And, you know, even if it takes that more southerly path, we could still be talking about significant rains across western Virginia, North Carolina.
All right. Thank you, Evan.